Deuteronomy chapter 6, once again, verse 13. Fear the Lord your God, serve him only, and take your oaths in his name. Do not follow other gods, the gods of the peoples around you. For the Lord your God, who is among you, is a jealous God, and his anger will burn against you, and he will destroy you from the face of the land. Whoa. Do not test the Lord your God as you did in Massah. And be sure to keep the commands of the Lord your God and the stipulations and the decrees he has given you. And do what is right and good in the Lord's sight, so that it may go well with you. And you may go in and take over the good land that the Lord promised on oath to your forefathers, thrusting out all your enemies before you, as the Lord said. I want to focus on that passage, that little part where it says, so that it may go well with you. And in doing that, I want to be completely transparent and tell you how stupid I am sometimes with my wife. Guys, you're going to just be ready for this. We went on a vacation to Florida last week, and so my wife and I found this little tropical tiki cabana place, you know, the beautiful, picturesque place, and there's palm trees, and it's at night, and it's lit just right, and we're having this wonderful, in-depth conversation as a husband and wife, because my daughter's been being watched by my in-laws, and my wife is pregnant, and we're having this conversation about baby names and talking about family names and names from the Bible that we love. And it's just this intense, great time of fellowship between my wife and I. And I said, do we have to talk about baby names all night? And I don't know if any of you guys are married or if you've ever been married to a pregnant woman. Not the best thing to say in that situation. Some people have this like filter in their brain that says, don't say that. I must not, I guess. And I think of, like, if one of you guys is an adult, like, who's been there, done that, would have coached me a little bit in this, you would have said, it will go well with you if you do not say this or do not do these things. And it did not go well with me. And so I'm telling you guys that are younger than me, who are not there yet, it will go well with you if you do not do what I did. It kind of stops conversation for the rest of the night. Just put it out there. Not good. And so I read this passage, and I read it like Moses is saying, I can't go in there with you. I want to. I'm not allowed. Had this whole run-in with a rock and a stick. It's in the past, but I can't go. And I want to go with you, but I can't. So I'm going to tell you this. It will go well with you if you do this. And I came up with 4 things that Moses is highlighting when he talks about what we need to do in order for it to go well with us. And so the first thing is this healthy fear of God. And I live in Gardner, Kansas. And Gardner, Kansas is the highest train per capita, train traffic per capita. And that's something to be proud of. It really helps your housing value. But don't worry, we have more coming. So I think trains when I think of analogies, but I'm not afraid of trains. I don't see Thomas the Train on TV and get all tense, and I don't lay awake at night fearing trains or locomotives. But I do have a healthy fear of trains. In other words, I would not stand on a railroad track with a train barreling down at me at 70 miles an hour and think that I could manage. No, it wouldn't go well with me if I did that. In fact, I had this video that I was watching on YouTube, and you can watch it too, of this minivan. It's a crash test, so no one got injured. This minivan on the tracks, and this train hits it at 70 miles an hour. And Craig, you watched it with me. The train in a split second was through the minivan. No one inside the minivan would have lived. It was like through the minivan in like a split second, even in slow motion. Amazing. I love seeing stuff blown up and crash, but it was amazing. And so I'm just going to encourage us, healthy fear of God. We're not afraid of God. We don't think of God and just shake all the time. But we do need to be afraid of what God can do when he's going somewhere and on a mission. And it's much better. It will go well with you if you are along with God, riding that train rather than sitting in a minivan on the railroad tracks, okay? Just a quick thought on fearing God. The second thing is we are not to test God. And Moses points back to this time where Israel was just like Craig said, had seen all these things, but they were thirsty, and they didn't have any water. And they were complaining, and they were like, why did you take us out of Egypt? It was so much better there. I mean, sure, we were slaves, and they were beating us and stuff, but we had water. We got to make giant dog statues. That was cool. And Moses is saying, don't test God. If you look back in Exodus, verse 17, verse 7, he says, and he called the place Massah and Meribah because the Israelites quarreled and because they tested the Lord, saying, is the Lord among us or not? And so here's these people who've seen great things happen. And then they're promised even greater things, this land with giants and big fruit. And they're smack dab in the middle of it, and they're just looking at the now, and they have no water, and they're just saying, is God even here? Does God even exist? And that's what he's talking about when we test God. So Craig talked about the good times. I want to focus on the bad times just for a second. When those bad times happen, Moses is saying, it will go well with you if you don't test God. The testing God is asking whether he even is there for us. Just thinking in the now. The third thing is keep the commands and the decrees that God has given us. And so you've got the first 5 books of the Bible, the Torah. They are the law of the book of Moses. And so there's lots and lots, hundreds of laws in there to keep. And including, and most importantly, the 10 Commandments that Moses handed the people. So he's saying keep those laws, and a present-day application would be know God's word and obey it. It's pretty simple. So I don't have to talk about it much more. And the last one, this one kind of baffled me a little bit. He said, do what is right. And he just told us, obey the law. And now he's saying, do what's right. So it's a little redundant, right? Another analogy quickly is just that mindset of you have either been babysat or have hired babysitters or somewhere in the process. But when I was growing up, there was 10 kids in my family, and we didn't get babysitters very often. And when we did, they didn't come back. But my mom would give us rules, not the babysitter. She was like, just hang on, all right? We'll be back in a few hours. She gave us rules like don't eat ice cream, no ice cream out of the freezer, don't climb out of the windows, no super glue and dryer lint. You remember that one, don't do that. And so she would give us all these rules about what we could and couldn't do. And then to wrap it all up, to cover it all, as she was leaving, she was like, be good, okay? You guys know what good is, be good, okay? And I think that's what Moses is saying. He's like, there's all these hundreds of laws, and there's these 10 commandments, but he knows that the way the human brain thinks, we try to trick the law. We have this, well, Mom said we couldn't eat ice cream, but that is frozen yogurt in the freezer. She didn't cover that frozen yogurt. And that's just, I think Moses is covering that. He's like, if the law doesn't cover it, be good. Do what's right in the sight of the Lord, okay? And so there's those 4 things. A healthy fear of God. Not testing God. Obeying his word. Knowing it and obeying it. And then doing what is right in the sight of the Lord. And I promise, as we send these graduates off, parents and graduates, and those who will be graduates and those who will be parents, if you tell these people that are leaving to do these things, it will go well with them. If they do it, it will go well with them.